Import duties. When a motorcycle crosses a border, the receiving country's government charges a fee based on the bike's value. This fee is called an import duty, and in many countries, it can be surprisingly high. In Indonesia, for example, import duties on motorcycles can reach up to 40% or more depending on the engine size and origin country. Australia applies its own tariff structure too, though rates have shifted over the years following various trade agreements. The result is simple. The importer pays more to bring the bike in, and that cost gets passed directly to the buyer. Value-added tax. Most countries apply a consumption tax on top of the base price of a motorcycle. In the United Kingdom, this is called VAT and currently sits at 20%. In Indonesia, it goes by ppn and adds another layer to an already taxed price. Even in countries where import duties are low, this tax alone can push the final retail price well above what someone in the United States would pay for the exact same model. The US does collect sales tax, but rates vary by state and are generally lower than the fixed national rates seen elsewhere. Luxury tax. Some governments classify motorcycles, especially larger engine models, as luxury items rather than everyday transportation. When that classification applies, an additional tax layer is added on top of everything else. In Indonesia, motorcycles above a certain engine displacement are subject to a luxury goods tax known as ppnbm. This can add a significant percentage to the price of mid-size and large displacement bikes. A motorcycle that sits in the affordable commuter category in one country can suddenly become a premium purchase in another, simply because of how the government categorizes it. Currency exchange rates. Motorcycles are priced by manufacturers in their home currency, usually Japanese yen, euros, or US dollars. When that price gets converted into the local currency of the buying country, exchange rates play a major role. A weak local currency means the importer pays more in real terms, even if the factory price never changed. Countries like Indonesia, where the rupiah has historically been weaker against major currencies, feel this effect strongly. Small shifts in exchange rates over months or years can quietly add hundreds of dollars to the landed cost of a motorcycle before a single tax is applied. Shipping and logistics costs. Getting a motorcycle from a factory in Japan or Europe to a dealership in Australia or Southeast Asia is not a simple process. It involves ocean freight, insurance, port handling fees, and last-mile transportation to the showroom. Australia's geographic isolation makes this particularly expensive. The further the destination from the manufacturing hub, the higher these costs climb. By the time a motorcycle reaches a dealer in a distant market, the logistics alone may have added a meaningful amount to the final sticker price that buyers rarely see itemized. Homologation and compliance costs. Every country has its own safety and emissions standards, and manufacturers must certify that their motorcycles meet those standards before they can be legally sold. This process is called homologation. It can require physical testing, documentation, modifications to the bike itself, and fees paid to regulatory bodies. If a model needs minor engineering changes to meet local emissions laws or lighting regulations, those costs are built into the price. For smaller markets where fewer units are sold, these fixed compliance costs get spread across a smaller number of buyers, making the per-unit impact even larger. Dealer, margins, and market structure. In some countries, motorcycle distribution is tightly controlled by a small number of authorized importers or distributors. When competition is limited, there is less pressure to keep prices lean. A sole authorized importer can set a margin that reflects not just their costs, but also the lack of alternatives available to buyers. In contrast, markets with open competition and multiple distributors tend to see prices pushed closer to their natural floor. The structure of how motorcycles reach the end buyer matters just as much as the taxes applied along the way. After-sales infrastructure. Building and maintaining a network of service centers, training technicians, stocking spare parts, and providing warranty support all cost money. In markets where the brand is still growing, or where the country is geographically spread out, these costs are higher per customer. Manufacturers and importers factor this into their pricing. A buyer in a remote Australian city or a smaller Indonesian town is partly paying for the infrastructure that ensures someone can service their bike after purchase. It is a cost that often goes unnoticed, but contributes quietly to the gap between prices across markets.